Here we are.
Oh,
All right. Awesome. We are live. I am so excited. Jared,
me too.
it's me and you tonight. It is me and you. I am so excited that you came back for a part two.
Of
Casey
course.
is not here with us tonight, so it's just the two of us having a conversation. However, anyone who's watching who does not know me, I'm Brittany Brainstorm, and I own the creative agency Brainstorm Boutique. And with me tonight, I have Jared Gravatt, who is well known in our community for his amazing coffee shop with Josh Benitone, Crown Brew Coffee. And Jared, we talked about so many cool things last. When was that? That feels like last week
I,
and yet a
I know, I
million
was
years
going to
ago.
say, it only felt like not even a month ago,
I know.
but it was a little bit.
It was, and so I was rewatching it, and I was like, we talked about so many things last time. We talked about the origin story,
We're like,
right?
I
Oh,
know.
we were all over the
Yeah.
place. So like maybe I'll like keep us to one topic tonight. We'll see what happens. But we had the origin story, and then we had where we talked about Marion United, and we really focused on community, like creating a
Mhm.
space for community at Crown Brew. But the big thing I want to talk about tonight is the customer experience, creating a memorable customer experience. Um, Mainly because you're only a business if you have customers, right?
Right. Yeah.
The moment that we don't have customers, we don't have a business anymore.
Panic moment.
That's right. That's right. And so the only way that we're going to have customers, and especially repeat customers, is if we're showing up for them and giving them a good time, a good experience. Um, Really, no matter what your business is, this is a topic that I think transcends all industries. But Jared, I'm a total chatterbox, so I want you to go ahead and introduce yourself again, and then we'll and just kind of give a little backstory for anyone who might be watching for the first time.
Yeah, my name's Jared Gravatt. I'm from Marion, Illinois. Grew up, born and raised here. Didn't always live here, but moved back a few years ago with just an extreme passion and vision for this region. It is such a special and unique place, and I'm so happy I'm here. This is my home, and I love it. I'm one of the owners of Crown Brew Coffee Company, which is now here in Marion. And we've had our grand opening since October, so it's
Woo-hoo.
slowly coming up to be a year.
Oh my gosh.
But it's been one heck of a year. It's been incredible, and this community just continues to blow me away, and I love it. This has been my life is beyond a dream. I love it.
Oh, I love that.
So
Well, I know being just like a few blocks away from Crown Brew, the fact that you guys moved here literally has made my life so much more joyful because you guys it's so true, but it's so true. Like you guys came in during the pandemic, and I've just had the opportunity to just like walk up the street and walk around the square and walk down the Crown Brew. And it's just like I could probably do it in my sleep because I now know
That's awesome. You're
the
so
path
close.
so well. It really is. It's
I love that.
really like what a great addition to the community. And actually, real quick, I want to add if anyone's watching right now and you want to leave a comment, if you're watching on my personal profile, hop over to Brainstorm Boutique on Facebook, and that way we can see your comments publicly and share them. Um, I was so excited to chat with Jared that I forgot to bring my laptop and make this public so people could comment and it will share through. So we may, if you're commenting on my personal profile, we may not see your comments until after the live stream. So hop over to Brainstorm Boutique on Facebook and we can share those comments. But Jared, I know when we talked last time is about how you guys went from Carterville, now you're in Marion, which we're so happy about, like I said, and and one of the things that I thought was so much fun is how you guys started selling coffee in your parking lot while you're remodeling the new store,
Yeah.
and people still flock to Crown Brew.
That was great. I'm like, these people are crazy. I walk out to work every morning. I'm like, these people are nuts.
We're like, give us a folding chair. And
It's like 105 degrees outside with masks on. I'm like,
masks on, yes. But we're dedicated and we wanted it.
I know.
So what was that like? Like, how did you guys think about that experience for the customer? Like, when were you like, we're gonna sell this in the parking lot? And then, like, what was, if you had one, what was your process in kind of figuring out how to still have a good experience?
Yeah, it was hard for me, really hard for me during that season, because I'm such an aesthetics person and I want that like aesthetic to serve aesthetically, right?
Yeah.
And we had like 6-foot foldable tables that were disgusting. So I would buy like these like tablecloths that were kind of fun, you know, and then try to decorate the tables. And I took all the plants from my house from my brother and just put them out everywhere and just tried like my best to make it somewhat of an experience just aesthetically. But it really wasn't. But people still came and hung out and saw people making friends, new friends, and that kind of thing. So that was really eye-opening for me, because I was like, I think people are here more than just the aesthetic. There's something else, and I still can't wrap my mind around it. Honestly, I show up and I'm like, these people are crazy. Why are they here? You know? But I feel so loved by it, and just to see the company celebrated in the way that it is, especially during one of the most difficult seasons as a business, you know, one being like homeless as a business and our peak of success, and then, you know, not having a home for a long time. You know, our customers followed us to all of our pop-up events and different stuff. You know, people, our regulars would show up to all these places that we would set up and pop up at. And I think that really showed me the depth that the community has. And that was really special, that it's more than just that product. And so, yeah, it was a hard season, but it was also really good. And I'm thankful for that one.
You know what? I actually had a lot of fun sitting out in the parking lot, not gonna
Really?
lie. So Casey left a comment, and I think she did it through our Facebook page. So it says Brainstorm Boutique left a comment, but it says, your matcha lattes are always aesthetic and always perfect. That's my favorite drink. And I know Casey loves it too. She gets it with her oat milk.
With her oat milk. No flavor in it though.
No,
and every time I'm like, no flavor? That's hardcore.
You know, she is hardcore. I'm like, add that honey lavender, baby. Like, that's what I want in my matcha latte.
I know. I'm like, put the lavender, put it like.
Casey says, sorry, I don't know how to comment us myself. That's okay. We'll do a tutorial of that later. Tough girl syndrome. Yes. Oh my gosh, I love that. So that's. I remember one of the things I talked to you about when you were standing at the kiosk, you know, outside, like, you know, look at how many people want to sit in a parking lot to enjoy Crown Brew. And obviously, we're so thankful you guys have an indoor space and we can enjoy that as well. But when we talked last time, and you had mentioned one of the things that really inspired you was whenever you bought a bow tie collar, is that right, for your dog? Mm-hmm. And you had got this really beautiful packaging from that small business owner. Yeah. And that is such a wonderful touch from like a digital space into like touching, you know, making an impression on someone in person, even though you didn't physically go in there. So I kind of want to hear about the two aspects of your guys' customer experience. I know you still sell stuff online, and you guys have, you know, that in-store experience. How do you bridge those gaps and bring them together, and then how are they different?
Bridge the gaps between online and Yeah. You know, man, I wish I had like the perfect answer. It's actually something that we're talking. No, but it's actually something we've been talking about because we want to grow our e-commerce. But you know, it's like I can't why would someone want to buy a bag of coffee from California that has no connection with us, right? That doesn't know.
Yeah.
And so it's all about extending your community, extending your family, extending that experience with somebody. So even as we're strategizing how to grow, you know, with our shop, it's easy. You see a face, you get to ask questions, you get to know that person, the customer, and have that experience for them. But with e-commerce, you know, just telling someone buy my product, it's cold. And so, you know, for us, we're, you know, strategizing, thinking of ways, how can we take that same experience and put it out through social media on the internet, where now people are actually brought into that same community. And so we have some really cool ideas that we're working on. And I'm really excited about it because I don't see other businesses doing it, right?
Oh boy. Okay, so that's stuff you don't have to share, but you know, I want to hear about it offline.
But for me, it's like, you know, let's talk about subscriptions. You know, we do subscription coffee. Well, the first people that, you know, signed up for our subscription coffee was our families, right? And then secondly was like our family friends, you know. But there's something about that, right? You know, why is it always family first and then family and then friends? And, you know, there's something about that like family environment, you know. And so when it comes to what we did when we first started the business, we started around Christmas time and we created those gift boxes really similar to that dog collar box that I got. Had the handwritten note, had the little sticker, had the packaging, had beyond what I thought I paid for. And that really impressed me. And I felt connected with, you know, the owner of that business or whoever made that. And we wrote like notes and that kind of stuff in those boxes, and people really felt connected to us. What we're dealing with right now is, as we're growing as a business, there's that temptation to really want to compromise that, because sometimes there's things that it's not sustainable, it doesn't work. But, you know, even now we're already planning like this next Christmas and bringing that back, that experience, that personal experience back to our customer. And so, yeah, and because we realize how important that is, we don't want to just be a business, you know, giving something to our customers. We have to have that sense of community and family. And honestly, I believe that's the key to success as a business, is having that. And so, you know, I think for me with the shop, and something that I'm, you know, really working with and dealing with is, you know, we're getting super busy all the time, especially on weekends and stuff. And so sometimes it's a little more difficult to have a really long conversation with somebody and stuff like that. And, you know, I have to try to give myself grace, because like, man, I should have like talked to that person longer. I should have asked them this and that kind of stuff. But I think what's important, and I think people see that like they put in effort, you know what I mean? And so to do the best that we can to like connect with our customers and to see that they're important, because my fear is I don't want to be so busy where now everyone's just like a number coming in. Like I want them to feel seen. And so, you know, we're constantly reevaluating, and because we fall into that trap. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, there are times where we get so busy, it's just like dishing out the stuff when we do it, and then our favorite people are in and out, and we don't even get to like talk or say hi. So we're constantly evaluating and being like, okay, in what ways are we compromising? In what ways are we letting that fall through the cracks? And what can we do to like make a difference? And I remember one time, even like, it was so funny because I was like, we're not getting as many like good reviews as we once did, right? But I'm like, our sales are better. So what is happening there? And we realized as we were about it, we're like, we're not really asking open-ended questions. We're not really connecting with this. So our staff started asking questions and open-ended questions. And then all of a sudden we started getting these like reviews of like, man, the staff was so friendly, blah, 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 and this. And so, but there's always that temptation to be in that like workhorse mode. But I think what's the most important is constantly being like, you know, am I treating the customers like their family when they come in, you know, because that really is what's going to be the most like successful thing. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it really does. I think, you know, from my personal experience, like if I come in, it's usually at a time where it tends to be busier, you know, and whether you're there or any of your other, you know, staff members are there, they are just so, they're just so friendly. Like they don't have to have a whole full conversation with me, right? Like I don't have to tell them, although I will, you know me, I'll tell them, but I don't have to tell them, like they don't have to ask me all about myself and all these things, but it's just the way that they ask and the way that they pay attention and the way that they do connect with you, even if it's for a brief moment, that it's really like enough. It's, I mean, we would always love to stand around, chat with you or Josh or, you know, Morgan or anyone like that. But the reality is that you guys have a business and you have to get your product out because that's what we're there for as well. You know,
Yeah.
obviously it's to see you guys, but Casey left another comment. She said, love that. She loved all the things that you said earlier. But that is an interesting point. If you don't mind talking about that a little bit more, is how have you seen a difference in your interactions with customers, you know, in the beginning and obviously where you are now? Because you guys are growing so much, and there's always, you know, there's always a line, you know, at those hot times when people are available to go in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I definitely I feel like we're not able to, like, me personally, I'm not able to connect, but I do realize that like now our staff are building relationships with customers.
Yeah.
I'll be in and I'm taking orders and I don't recognize this person at all, but our barista will know their name, know their drink, and know what happened yesterday because that person comes in a lot, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, that's really awesome. So it's not just all on me. When like in the beginning, a lot of it is just Josh and myself trying to, you know, but you know, we have this amazing team that really tries to like build relationships with these customers as well. And so just trusting that that's like happening and being intentional in that way, I think is super important. And like, I try to serve in other ways as well, like, you know, like aesthetically and in bathroom, like having nice bathrooms and stuff like that too, in ways that I can't communicate verbally. I try to communicate by like putting flowers on the table and putting, you know, like, you know, that kind of stuff. Like that's in a way, my way of communicating with the customer. Like, hey, I see you, I care about you, I want you to have a good experience, when I'm not able to communicate that even verbally. It's same with our drinks. Like I want to make sure I'm making a really great drink for you so that if we're really busy and I can't like ask, you know, how your week has been, you know, or go in depth into that you have that good experience still, that you feel seen, that you feel like, you know, they cared enough to put flowers on the table, you know, like stuff like that, you know. That's really important for me because I know that that does speak something. I don't want people to think that they're there for me. Josh and I always said, we want this business to be a gift to this region. So what does that look like? It sounds really great and really like humble and like, we want to be a gift to this region, but it really is true. But how does a business become a gift and also still be a business, right? And so I think a lot of businesses are like, hey, I exist and I'm going to cut every corner I can and I need you to serve me so that I can, you know, whatever. And people feel that. But then for us, it's like, we want to be a gift to our customers. We want to create that experience for them. I know it's actually better for the business to be that way. Same with like marketing goes, and you understand marketing. It's a lot better if like 5 influencers on social media who have a lot of friends and credibility say, hey, you guys need to check out this coffee shop in Marion, than it would be me, the owner, being like, hey, check out our coffee shop in Marion. You know what I mean? And so, but how do you create that? You have to create an experience for those people. And a lot of people, I'm always asking, they'll be like, this is our first time here. I'm like, how did you hear about us? They're like, our good friend was talking about you guys, or we saw on Facebook, someone shared a post or took a picture in here and stuff like that. And that makes me so excited because I'm like, you know, it's always better when you can create an experience where other people are celebrating you than you celebrating you, you know?
I agree 100%. And actually, Casey was asked a question that I was like on the tip of my tongue. So she's psychic. She knew exactly what I want to ask. How do you ask your staff to create those relationships, or do you only hire people that you can tell will naturally create those relationships? That's a really good question, actually.
Yeah.
Thanks, Casey.
Yeah, we only hire people that we can tell. I mean, people be like, we're not like, what's your coffee experience? I don't give a crap about your coffee experience. I can train anything, you know? You can't train character. Character's the hardest thing to really like put in somebody, right?
Yeah.
So for us, we're like, man, we really love your heart and your passion for people and what you uniquely bring to the table in that way. All of our baristas, a lot of them didn't really even have a lot of coffee background experience, but we knew that we could train that part. That part is easy. It's the other part that's hard. Now, a lot of times, like I was saying earlier, is we get so caught up in we're like machines where we're just like producing and doing that we realize that, hey, I haven't really been asking those questions that I normally ask, or I haven't been like, you know, and so we're constantly holding each other accountable in that way. A lot of times too, you know, we're so tight as a team that we're so involved in each other's lives. So we're always talking about our lives and stuff, but we do understand sometimes too, that can be bad when someone walks in and they see us in a deep conversation, it looks like they're intruding. And then we know that that's a problem, right? So we're constantly holding each other accountable with, you know, what is that experience when they walk in the door? We have to read the room. Are we loud and people are trying to like study? Are we, you know, that's the kind of thing. So a lot of times we'll be like, okay, read the room, you know, and we'll hold each other accountable with making sure that that environment in this space is, you know, a good one. But we always fall into like traps at times. But I'm so thankful that our team holds each other accountable. But the character of the staff that I have is so absolutely incredible, and I will always hire based off of character that I see. Not like, for me personally, not that degrees don't matter and job experience doesn't matter. It does, absolutely. Does. But to me personally, as a business owner, it is a small fraction of importance. You know, character is important. And the reason why character is so important for me personally is because so much of my business, I believe, has to do with that customer experience type of thing. So yeah, if I see like my staff being rude or short, we'll definitely like talk about it. And a lot of times, you know, they're going through something and we'll work through it and things will get better, you know. But yeah, to me, that's like super important. Sorry, that was really long to answer.
No, that was great. That was excellent because one, like I've only had like the best experiences at Crown Brew. So like for me, I'm like, you know, the only place to go. Actually, okay, we got a comment here from Brittany Wynn. She says Crown Brew makes me happy, the best customer service, and always means a coffee date with a friend. Full disclosure, one of my best friends. So usually that coffee date's with me. Love you, Brittany. We might be planning one soon, Jared. So you'll be seeing the two Brits together coming in for our avocado toast. Well, you know, I don't think I've ever seen a rude experience with any of your staff. And that's not to say it doesn't happen, because we're all humans and things happen. Like, one of my questions for you is, do you have in your work history like customer service experience, or is that just something that comes natural to you?
So my first job was a call center. I was talking to high school kids going on trips to Africa, you know. So that was fun. And then my second job, I sold cars at CarMax.
Really?
Yes. And that was very difficult, but really great, because, you know, when people are, a lot of times, especially that the company, they didn't haggle or anything, but if a lot of other places, if you're buying a used car, a car salesman's like always trying to, you know, get the most out of you and that kind of stuff. So when people come in, they got their guard up. Right. So my whole goal, I remember when I applied for this job, I said, I know nothing about cars. I don't even like cars that much. I was like, so honest. They're like,
I love it.
We don't either. Like, you know, all we care about is that you can get the customer to like trust you and trust this business because
Wow.
we really want to feel trustworthy and sell them a quality car. And so the whole thing was just like building that experience, building that trust. So that I'm really thankful for that. And the way that you did that really was asking open-ended questions, not yes and no questions. So I remember my manager would create scenarios and we would do role play scenarios and stuff like that. It was really out of my comfort zone, but I was actually really thankful for it because it put me out of my comfort zone to, you know, have those conversations. And we've done little exercises like that with Crown Brew as far as like when customers is like this, how do you respond, or what does that look like, and you know, that kind of thing. Even the questions that you ask, a lot of times too, like there'll be someone and they're totally stumped and they don't know what to do. So we have actually a list of questions that we'll ask the customer because we know it's going to guide them to what they want, right? And it was the same with selling cars. We would say, you know, what's important to you? Do you like hot, cold? You know, it's the same with the car. Do you like a big SUV? Do you like a smaller car? What are you looking for? Good gas mileage or room for your kids, you know? And same with coffee drinkers. A lot of coffee drinkers know what they like, but then when there's a million options, they're like, I don't know. So I always go, you know, are you feeling coffee or not coffee? Let's start there. You know, because if you're not a coffee drinker, I know all the options there. But if you are, then I'm like, are you wanting something hot or cold? You know, then they'll go from there. And then are you like black coffee? Do you like flavor and milk and those kinds of things? So I'm really learning the customer through that part. But to them, they're seeing me guiding them as an expert who's recommending the best thing for them.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, it's always the white turtle cold brew.
Okay, I love this conversation right now because that's exactly what happened to me when I went to you guys the very first time, Jared. And I'm pretty sure it was you who helped me. I don't drink coffee. Like I just don't, but I knew I had to go drink coffee at Crown Brew. I don't drink coffee. Here I am. And you guys didn't have your matcha yet. Okay. So I am this non-coffee drinker coming to Crown Brew and I had no idea what to get. No. And so we end up having this conversation and you guide me through and I got my coffee and I don't remember, it might have been the white turtle actually. All I know is I loved it. And I was like, I think I shared it in my Instagram and I was like, well, I don't drink coffee, but apparently I drink Crown Brew coffee. Casey commented she's just going to ask for the tough girl tea, please.
Please do. Please.
And Brittany says, white turtle all the way.
Yes.
You do. But when you guys started offering matcha, that like, I know it sounds awful. I should never say that to someone who owns a coffee shop, but like, coffee's just never been my thing. But when you guys start offering matcha, that was a whole new journny for me. Is like finding out what I liked with the matcha. And I don't remember who it was. One of your awesome staff. This is like way when you guys first started offering matcha. They're like, would you like to try that with honey lavender? And I'm like, well, I don't know what that is, but sure, because it sounds cute. And they threw that, and now that's all I get. I'm like, ice cold matcha latte with honey lavender, you know. But that is so important, is that guidance. Oh, and then one more thing. Do you guys still do the flights, or was that back at like?
It was back at the other shop, but we're bringing them back. Yeah,
okay.
It's probably going to be in the spring though.
That but makes me so
they are coming back. Yeah, it's gonna be in the spring, probably around March, but they definitely are coming back. Yeah.
Okay, that was life-changing for me because then I got to try all the flavors I've been too scared to try. And just like a little drink, and then I think that's when I was like, man, I just love the matcha so much. But yeah,
okay, we did the matcha in those, didn't we? That's right.
You heard it here, folks. The flights are coming back. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. And I'm going to add one more time because I know that this streams on my business page and my personal page. Okay. If you are leaving a comment on my personal page, we will not be able to see it till later because I did not make it public. So you can hop over to Brainstorm Boutique on Facebook if you have any questions for Jared. Otherwise, they'll get answered after this broadcast. So Jared, you guys are obviously training your people to have a great customer experience. You have, I really loved what you were saying about the aesthetically pleasing part of your business, how that's how you show your appreciation for your customers. The fresh flowers gets me every time whenever I walk in. There's like these beautiful flowers. It just elevates it. And just makes...
I put some in on Friday, and then like by Sunday they were like dead. I was like,
oh no, they just don't last long enough. Okay, let me ask you a question though. Blink once for yes, twice for no. Are the plants and the macrame hangers real?
Hold on. Okay. There's two answers in that answer.
Okay.
So I'll be honest. Okay, so the top row, totally fake.
Okay.
Because we can't reach that high, right?
I love it. Yes.
All the other ones are real.
Okay.
And we change them out all the time because they die and then they get,
Okay.
But the top row, fake. Everything else is real, and that's because we're like trying to like reach for it, and it's so tall. We're like, I'm not messing with
that. I love that. Okay, that's so smart because I kill everything, and I aspire to have these beautiful hanging macrame. But I get my macrames from Fringe and Free. She's one of my clients.
Oh, and I saw those. I was like, those are amazing.
Oh my gosh, she hand does all those. You should.
Yeah,
Natalie is. She's an angel on this planet too. Like, you would absolutely adore her.
Yeah, I can't.
But I can never keep a plant alive, so I'm going to be doing like some little videos of products. And plus Natalie, she wrote me, she's like, Brittany, can I ask you to have a real plant in them for the video part? She's like, we can get away with the fake plant for the photos. She's like, but I think for the video we need real. And I was like, oh no.
So you need to talk to Grace. Grace takes care of all of our plants. She's got an app. Everything's on a schedule. She is like crazy plant lady. Yes, she's like got the biggest green thumb I've ever seen in my life. Yes, but there's apps, and she can tell you what to download that says for this particular plant, you need to water it this much on this day of the week, and you'll get like alerts and stuff like that. So talk to Grace. She'll.
Okay,
oh, man.
I'm going to.
She will. Well, yeah.
Today I stopped in Muddy Roots for the first time. I don't know if you've been there in Murphy. It's like a boutique plant shop. Super cute. And they hooked me up with some, and they gave me very specific instructions. So fingers crossed that I don't kill them. But I'm over. Casey commented. She said Natalie is an angel. She absolutely is. But I've been like, every time I go into Crown Brew, I'm like, how do they keep those so alive all the time? Like at the top.
No. Oh yeah, those are real.
So I need to talk to you later about your fake plant supplier because I need a couple. But anyhow, that's off the topic, but kind of on the topic because we're talking about your aesthetic. So now we know. I appreciate your honesty, Jared. It's inspiring. It really is.
I thought I was gonna get away with it for this long, but whatever, it's fine.
You know, okay. It's just the people who watch this that will know. Don't worry, I won't spread the word. I won't go. By the way.
Yeah.
So one of the things we're talking about is your online orders, and I know you said you guys are working on a new thing, and I can't wait to see how that goes. But what are you? A lot of people that haven't seen a growth in their business yet, right? Like maybe they're starting small with their online shop, and they're sending out some orders here and there. What is one of the things you would advise them when it comes to creating that relationship through a box of goodies that they get in the mail?
Yeah.
And then what should they keep in mind for when they scale?
For when they what? You cut out.
When they scale their business and it gets busier.
Yeah. I really loved even how we did, even though we don't still do all those long handwritten notes and everything and all those boxes right now currently. I'm really thankful that we did that because I think even if you can start a small group that's faithful and sharing what you're doing and, you know, that kind of stuff, it grows over time and people start to follow like your journey. I think even just asking little ways, like, how can I throw something in there? Is it a little card, you know, or just a picture of your business or little things like that? For me, you know, a lot of times we'll try to we want our bags to be pretty and stuff like that. But I'm trying to think. Your question.
Hard-hitting questions, Jared. Got you in the hot seat.
But it's okay. So the question was, how do they create that like experience?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think you got to ask is like, I always ask myself this question.
I'm here for it.
How would I buy this myself? If I just saw this from the street, I have no understanding of this business or anything like that, would I buy it?
Yeah.
You know? And I'm always asking myself, that's why I'm so critical about e-commerce and stuff like that, is I'm like, why would someone want to buy this?
Yeah.
What would intrigue them? What would hook them? You know, that kind of thing. Is it your story? A lot of times when we started off, people were really inspired by our story and our heart behind the coffee of why we even started the business and how we wanted to utilize business and how we cared about community, how we cared about, you know, sustainability in these other countries and the farms, you know, seeing nonprofits funded and stuff like that. People were really inspired by that. And so, you know, a lot of times people want to know your story. For our website, it was really important for us. I wanted the website to be as aesthetically pleasing as our coffee shop. So we were really intentional to try to make a really beautiful website to tell our story. We wanted to tell our story. And, you know, we wanted to like feature our products and have a really great offering to give our customers. A lot of people, we got messages being like, you know, I stumbled upon your website. I read your story and I was really inspired. And so I bought this bag and I'm obsessed with this particular coffee now. So there always has to be that hook. But if your hook is just your product, a lot of times you're not going to catch a lot of customers. And so I think any kind of business, you got to say, what is my hook? And for me, if I was a customer, what would be the hook for me? Well, the hook for me would be, I really want to serve a company that has a good mission, a good heart. I want to hear their story. I want to feel connected to people when I buy this product, but I also want a really good product. But I also know I can get really good products other places, right? We're not the only coffee company in the world. We're not the only coffee shop in our town.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
So what makes us different, you know? And so I think that's what every business owner and has to ask himself is, if I was a Joe Schmo from the street getting introduced to this business, what would hook me? What would intrigue me? What would, you know? And unfortunately right now, I'm not satisfied with how our business is portrayed through e-commerce, through online. And it's right now we're like, man, we have a great big opportunity right now, because that is one part of our business that we really haven't pursued or put, you know, energy into, but we're like, man, there is something here, you know? And so we're excited to do that and strategizing of what are ways that we can extend that family, extend that sense of community all over the nation, so that the same person who walks into the coffee shop and we know their drink order and we know, you know, that their name and that kind of stuff, that they feel just as like seen or connected to the company, you know. For me, I'm like excited to start utilizing like platforms like TikTok and stuff like that, which is kind of weird, but like I'm seeing a lot of small businesses do that, and I'm inspired that people are using really out of the box ways to like grow their business and build community. Just the other day, I was on TikTok and they were doing a live, and they're like, all right, sorry, people, tell me, you know, where you're from. People were like, Canada, North Carolina, California, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, all this stuff. And people are commenting and they're having this like shared experience with this business owner talking about their craft and stuff. And I'm watching this and I'm like really inspired. I feel connected to what's happening. And I was like, man, that's so cool. And I would not buy that product if I was just walking past it on the street. I probably would never. But because I kind of had that experience where I'm connecting with this person or seeing that, it made me want to like buy that product.
Yeah.
It's something that I probably would never buy, so I didn't end up buying it.
But you remember it, right?
Yeah. But you know, but yeah, and so it's just constantly thinking of, you know, how do you extend that sense of community, that sense of family? How does that customer feel seen? It's the same thing as like putting flowers on the table. I'm trying to communicate to my customer something without even language.
Yeah.
But because it speaks something. And they may see your product and it's very unique and out of the box, and that speaks something to them. So I don't know if that makes sense. I'm still trying to figure it out myself, but I'm realizing saying with online e-commerce, just being like, hey, here's our product, buy it. It just doesn't work. I wouldn't do that, you know? And so, you know, really figuring out ways of how do you really extend that sense of family and community through the internet.
Well, I know you guys do such a great job of doing that on Instagram and Facebook, especially. Brittany, when she wrote "compassion through coffee" from one of your earlier comments, and that's exactly what you guys do, you know, in person. And I think since you guys have such a good established like community feel, people sharing in their stories on Instagram, and you know, I'm sure they're doing I'm not on TikTok. I should, but I just can't. I'm not on TikTok. Maybe you'll change my mind. Maybe I'll get on TikTok all these days. But you know, people are sharing your product, and you know they're talking about it. And like, I love watching you guys share, you know, what people are tagging you in through the day in their stories. And like one of the things that I see happening a lot is like, oh, came to visit my friend, couldn't wait to visit Crown Brew, because you know that their friend has shared it on their stories and they talked about it so much that they want to be a part of it. So not only did they visit their friend, but then they went to their favorite spot with them. And how cool is that when someone can then go back wherever they are and they're like, oh, hey, we can be sending you these cute Crown Brew boxes, you know, and order that online. So I am so excited for you guys. I love e-commerce, so I'm super excited to see what you guys do with your boxes and all that good stuff.
Thanks.
Because I think we're getting to the point again. I feel like we went through a phase. Maybe it's millennials. I don't know. It's like we didn't want mail, and now I love getting mail. Like if I get something in the mail, I'm so happy, unless it's like a bill or something, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, it's like getting those packages in the mail that have something that you love so much is, I don't know, just makes life so much more exciting. And obviously, you know, you got Amazon. That's, you know, definitely has the lion's share of the e-commerce space, but I think so many people crave that personal touch. Like Jeff Bezos is not packaging coffee beans in those boxes. You know, he's going into space or whatever it is he's doing now. And I love that, you know, you have a small team who's putting that stuff together, leaving notes if they can. I know time is of the essence sometimes, but yeah, it really goes a long way, you know. And the coolest thing is when someone gets a coffee box, they're going to open it and it's already going to smell good. Not every company has that thing, right? Where their actual product is going to open up and smell like what they are, which is a coffee shop. So I think that's amazing right there.
That's true. I never thought about that.
Well, you know, like branding is so much more than just, you know, your logo and all that stuff. It's the smell of the shop. It's, you know, the noises and the sounds and all those things. And coffee is the coolest product to be sending in the mail. Keep it brand consistent.
It is, yeah.
So Jared, what is your hope then for your e-commerce store? Like, let's think about, you don't have to tell me all the specifics, but like where you are right now, and then like a year from now, like what would you just kind of hope would be the overall, I don't want to say improvement, but just seeing the adjustments made in that.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much that we've just not even tapped into with e-commerce. I think we'd love to see a lot of subscriptions. We really believe in like subscription coffee. If people even giving like the gift of subscription for like family members and stuff like that, where you're now getting that gift, like you were saying, this coffee box twice a month, or once a month, and that kind of stuff. And so we really want to see that part grow. We really believe in that. Our merch too. We're about to release a ton of merch that I'm super excited about.
I'm excited.
So I want to see that grow and see just kind of like the branding of that, and like our mugs and our t-shirts and tote bags and stickers and all kinds of stuff.
Oh my gosh.
I'm excited to like see that go out, and have that kind of like lifestyle brand,
Yes.
Another thing too that we haven't done in a long time, we used to sell a lot of manual brewing gear and nice brewing gear for people. And we did that at our other shop, and we did brewing classes and things like that. We kind of stopped doing that, but it's something we want to go back into and talking about and selling, retailing, really quality brewing gear that we love as a company. Because people are always asking like, well, what would you buy? What kind of grinder would you buy? What's your favorite way to brew coffee at home? What's your favorite way to brew coffee when you're traveling? What's your, that kind of stuff. And we love to recommend and that kind of thing. And so we really want to get back into that. And we believe a lot of that will be through like kind of like master classes and little online classes for people and that kind of thing. And so we want to grow that. And then again, that's that community. We want to have people have that experience, but then, grow and selling those kinds of things as well. So there's so much that we just haven't even just like put our energy to, because we put so much energy into the shop and just making sure that, that's good. But I think at this point, we have such a great team. We're really going to start focusing on creating that like e-commerce experience. But personally, our goal is really, we want to get those, subscription coffees going. We just believe in that so much. And people who have it really love it. They love knowing that every 2 weeks they're going to get their favorite coffee shipped to their front door,
How easy and how like, okay, if you're watching right now, you need to go send your best friends a subscription box, and it's crownbrewcoffee.com.
Crownbrewcoffee.com.
Okay. Yeah.
Crownbrewcoffee.com. Yep.
Crownbrewcoffee.com. I'm just going to go ahead and pitch it for you, Jared. Get on there, send all your friends a subscription box, get them hooked on this coffee, and then they won't ever cancel their subscription, right?
Yeah.
They'll renew their own. I have some subscriptions. Like I felt like there were some parts of my life I needed to automate a little bit. And when those come in like on clockwork, depending on how I set that up, it makes my life so much easier. I feel like, you have your people who's going to come in regularly and get their drink, get their avocado toast and all that cool stuff.
Right.
But realistically, there is those same people still have to wake up in the morning, brew their coffee before they go to work, or have their coffee at work. Why can't it be Crown Brew Coffee? It doesn't have to be only when they come in person to the shop. If they get their subscrition box, they can be like your walking, talking advertisement all day long. I love that. I think one of the biggest things business owners have to think about, and I want to believe everyone does, but I think we've all had experiences where we've gone into a store or we've worked with a service provider or something and we didn't feel valued as a customer. And it's so important that if you have a business, you cannot assume people are going to buy from you. You can't take for granted or feel entitled that they have to pick you over all the other businesses that exist out there. And it's really on us as business owners to continually show up every day for our customers and make sure that they have a fantastic experience, because the moment that they stop having a good experience is the moment they stop coming to our business. And can't have a business without customers, you know?
Right.
And I think, you know, what is it, the field of dreams, like you build it and they will come. Yes, they will, but will they continue to come back?
Are they one time or are they lifetime, you know?
Exactly. Jared, I think you guys have done a fantastic job creating a business where people want to continue coming back all the time. So I think I now have like a Crown Brew line in my budget. So I'm definitely not like, I know I'm not the one person who's keeping you guys in business by any means, but for the time that I have to come, you know, I do my very best. Is there anything else you would like to share with just anyone who might be watching who has a business or might be inspired to have a Casey has commented she agrees. Is there anything you would advise them to think about, to consider in the early stages of their business when it comes to customers specifically?
Yeah. I think what's hard a lot of times with business owners and entrepreneurial people, we're big dreamers and visionaries, and we can see how big this is going to get and how far we want to go and how many different things we want to do. And the temptation that happens is we try to do too much, and in doing too much, it's not as good quality. And so my recommendation is, with the little that you have, make it the best that it can possibly be. You know, before we even had a coffee shop, before we had a warehouse, I mean, before we had anything, we had those boxes. And so we tried to make those boxes the best that we could possibly be. We put all of our energy into that. And it was really great. People loved it. And so it's the same with anything else. I think a lot of times people think because they maybe have one or two products that it's just not enough. And it's not good. My thing would be, make those two products like the best that they can possibly be, you know, and let it grow, let things grow organically. In that way. You know, I've seen so many, one thing that I absolutely hate is I hate going to a restaurant and opening up their menu and there's like 25 pages.
Oh gosh, because too many
I know, well, there's too many options, but I know that because there's so many options, it's probably not going to wow me. It's not going to impress me. Whenever I go to an extremely nice restaurant, 9 times out of 10, it's a one-sided menu that's like this big, right? And there's 6 things on there. And I know anything that I pick that's going to be on that list is going to wow me. And it does, right? And so it's that same kind of concept. Is like, let's, before you grow and expand and those kinds of things, try to like be the best that you can possibly be for that, you know? Get those recipes, if it's a meal, if you're a chef, or if it's, you know, a whatever, if even, you know, that kind of thing of like a craft type thing, you know, make the packaging great, make the experience, your story, your website, you know, that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think that those things really matter. And I think, don't try to become too much too fast, would be my only recommendation.
Absolutely. I agree with that. And especially, I think there's this desire to be like that business that does it all. We have it all. We can do it all, you know? And actually, I always like to challenge that. Like, maybe you don't want to do it all. You don't want to be the person who has everything. Like, you want to be the person that has those specific things, you know, like you're saying, do those couple things, you know, really, really well. And as you get those the best, you can continue to add, you know, to your service or, you know, to your team for someone else that like, oh, I really want to do this, but I'm already stretched to my limit on what I'm doing now. Then you're able to add someone who has a complementary skill set to take on that other thing that you had that vision for with your business. But I also feel like sometimes there's this pressure probably as a business owner too. I wonder if you feel this, like the feeling to be the unicorn, where it's like, you can do it all. You can brew the coffee. You can have the best customer service. You get to do the best social media. You can package everything perfect. You can, all these things. Like in your business, sometimes you want to be that unicorn that does everything, but then it's so easy to like burn out really quick if you're the one doing everything. So whenever you keep, your sight on the important things,
yes,
then you're able to put your energy in those things.
So important. Literally today, Josh and I had like just one of our, every couple months or so, we spend a whole day, where we did at my house today, and we just basically come through everything and about what's important. But it's like there were things that we did, and we're like, we're just not going to do that. We're going to say no. And like this has actually been a season of us saying no to a lot of things, and it has felt so good because we've said no to things that have sucked so much life out of us, things that really don't produce joy, things that really things that are good.
Yeah.
And I think as a young business owner and as like a beginning business owner, you want to say yes to everything that's good, right?
Yeah.
But then anything that you say yes to that's good also comes with its hardships, right? And that good doesn't necessarily mean that it's giving you joy and fulfillment in your own life.
Yeah.
And so we're realizing in this season is we want to put all of our energy into the things that are fruitful and the things that are giving us life, the things that are giving us joy. But the things that are good, but are not, we're saying no. And people get mad when we say no. But that's the temptation. A lot of people say we want to try to please everybody and being all things to all people, but don't do that. Know what gives you joy, know what makes you unique, know what's like those kinds of things. Put your energy into that, it'll grow. And then eventually there'll be people on your team that will fill those roles in ways that you couldn't do, right? Kind of what you're saying. But in this season right now, there are things we are absolutely not going to do. We're not going to entertain. We're not going to think about. We're not even going to just put energy into. And that's okay. And it really is okay. And there were things that we kept saying yes to. We're like, man, this is just because we felt like we had to. We felt like it was important. But no, you don't have to.
I love that for you.
And I'm proud of that, because when my energy is sucked out and my joy is sucked out, everything else that I love and care about is now getting compromised.
Yeah.
I have to say no to things for the sake of preserving the good and what is also good and what is also working. And that's another thing is like, if you're saying yes to things that are sucking your joy, sucking your energy, sucking things that you don't love, that means the things that you prefer and that kind of stuff, they're probably getting compromised. They're probably getting your 20% energy, right? Because you're giving that 80% to whatever. And it's just not good. And we've been in that. We've done that. And we saw where the whole thing is now suffering because of this. And so, so the season of saying no is an amazing thing, and it's a healthy thing, and it's a good thing. I'm going to get off my soapbox.
No, I love it so much. In case he says, Marie Kondo everything. Yes. I will bring that back up.
I almost got my water out.
Everything. Good timing, Casey. Okay. So before I gotta talk about this for a minute, because before the pandemic hit, right? Everything's always around before the pandemic. The pandemic's not over yet. Here we are in the middle of it still. It's what it is. But I got this book at the library, back when life was innocent, and it was, called Essentialism. And that's before I even knew this word was going to dominate everything, right? Essential businesses, essentialism. But I read this book, and it's called Essentialism, and it absolutely changed my entire life. And this was before I even decided to start my own business. I started looking at a lot of things, other things that I was doing that was taking my time and energy. And one of the things it said is, if you don't prioritize your time, someone else will.
Oh, yeah.
And how I bet you see that a lot. Look at me, I'm prioritizing your time right now, Jared.
Oh, I love this. This is what gives me joy. So
okay. I appreciate you saying yes to this, but I acknowledge that. There's so many people, though, that don't acknowledge, or they're not really aware of the energy that it does take on a business owner to take all these other things. And then this is kind of where it ties back to our theme tonight. You run the risk of, do I upset someone and maybe it impacts like a customer experience or customer relationship because I had to say no to something that they may have been passionate about?
Yeah.
But having the ability to discern what is a yes and what is a no is so important to your business. So I'm excited for you. Season of no.
It's good.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
But I'll tell you what we're saying no to right now, and that's like catering stuff and events. And these are things that we've done in the past that have loved and been great, but they have been really hard. We know that when we get the right staff and enough staff and a space to actually make that sustainable, we'll say yes all day. But right now, it's not smart for us to say yes to all these things. It's a whole other business. It really is. Yeah. And so, but there are people and they're like, yeah, I got this huge event, it's going to be great. It's $1 million, not true. But, it's this big flashy thing. It sounds great. And like, normally we'd be like, oh yeah, we'll do that. We're like, no, not right now. We can't. And that's okay, and people don't understand sometimes. And sometimes people aren't going to understand why you said no. But, it's always for the sake of what you're giving your time to is the best of you, not just the.
Well, and the truth is that if you did say yes to these catering events with the amount of manpower you actually have right now, that is going to make the customer experience in your store and these other things suffer, if you will, because then you won't have the people who need to be there. They will be elsewhere. Exactly. And those are those hard decisions you have to make. But ultimately, it's so that what is a priority right now, and that's building that community and that customer experience, you're making sure that's first. And you know what? And if the time is right for you guys to have this whole launched catering side to your business, I know you guys will only launch it whenever it's ready to go and a great experience for the people who hire you for that. Because I'm sure there's nothing worse than going to an event and not saying that you guys have experiences, but to think, oh my gosh, this could actually end up being a hot mess. And then we might look bad there. Is that going to deter people from actually coming to the store because of that experience?
Exactly. Yeah.
So
it's good.
You guys are right on the money with that one.
It affects everything. Yeah. So,
yeah, it really is. So
and that's again what I was kind of. Yeah.
If they say no.
Right.
It's nothing to do with you. What were you going to say, Jared? I'm sorry.
Well, it kind of goes back to, the advice of like, with the little that you do have, make sure it's the best that it can be. Yeah. And right now, even though we've been established for a few years, we still have little and we're trying to make it the best that we can be so that we can grow. Like we could be like, yeah, we're going to do catering and wholesale and try to get in every business and every church and every, doctor's office and this and that and this. And it sounds so great, but there's a lot of cost involved in that, manpower, all those kinds of things, even farmers markets. I mean, farmers markets were great. Farmers markets are just like an adorable thing. Like who doesn't love farmers market? But being out in the heat all day long it was very draining, and I could tell it was actually draining some of my best staff. So I was like, I think it's best that we don't do a farmer's market right now.
Yeah.
It's actually taking more of a toll than it is actually helping our business. So, but that's hard a lot of people to understand, because they're like, oh man, we saw you at the farmer's market and you're not there this year. What's going on? And it's hard, but you know, you just got to make decisions that are best for your team. You got to take care of your team and that kind of stuff. So,
you know, one of the things that I started, my little mantra, if you will, is not every opportunity is mine. And even though it sounds really awesome, you know, they want a coffee shop, you know, a coffee shop presence at their event, right? Maybe it is that other coffee shop's opportunity to do that while you build, you know, what you're focused on. And like, even for me, whenever I had people to reach out to me for projects that I just don't have the capacity to take on, it's not my opportunity to do that project. And so then it's on me to make sure that I refer that to the right person if I'm able, or just know that it's not anything that I have to internalize, that I didn't get to do it because it just wasn't possible. So that just was meant for someone else to do. And I think sometimes it's easy to get caught up as a business owner. Like, you want to be the one who's at everything, doing all the things. And it's always like us, and my business and my brand. But then sometimes it's just like, okay, that's not my opportunity. And I'm excited for that other person who's going to do it.
Yeah. That's so good. You definitely have to almost disconnect emotionally when you say no, because that could be, you know.
It can be hard.
It can be hard.
Well, Jared, I've kept you on here for over an hour, and I don't want to take up a lot more of your time and all that, but I want you to just tell people how they can work with you and where they can come, and you'll say yes to taking their order.
Yeah, we'll definitely come to our coffee shop that's on Union Street in Marion, and we've developed a whole new food program, and this fall we're going to have a whole new lineup of food that we're excited for, and signature drinks that we've been working on. And definitely pay attention to like our e-commerce and stuff like that. We're gonna have brand new merch coming out here within weeks, you know, hats, t-shirts, tote bags, stickers, mugs, gosh, I know that there's even more, like keychains, coasters, all kinds of stuff. And we're already developing our Christmas boxes.
Oh my gosh.
And so we're gearing up for Christmas, and that stuff will be available online. It'll be available in our shop. So we're just really excited about being able to offer that. Currently, we're in a process of renovating our new warehouse space that's down the street. And when we get that done, we'll be able to do more of like bulk orders for like scones and baked goods and growlers and bottles and all that kinds of stuff. So we're really excited, and we're hoping before the end of the year, we'll be able to introduce all of that stuff, so that, you know, whatever kind of event that you have, you can buy bakery items, you can buy jugs of coffee and all that kind of stuff. So really great things are in the works. And that's one of the reasons why we're saying no, is because right now we're putting a lot of our energy into developing that warehouse, that bakery program, our kitchen program, and it just be the best that it can be. So we're gearing up for fall, and we're gearing up for Christmas, because that's like such a fun time, I think, for like a coffee company, especially like fall, and like signature drinks and baked goods and all that stuff.
We want to get our scarves on. We want to have a nice lattes. We want our boots on. We want to be a little chuggy, if you will. So I don't know if that's still a word.
The chuggiest time of the year. I don't know. But
I don't know if that's still a word, but I'll throw it out there. Oh, Jared, well, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your yes for this. So we'll just have to get our brains together later on and see when you want to come back for another interview.
Anytime.
We always love having you.
I love being on this. This is seriously such a highlight. I love it so much.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Well, thank you again, and good night, everybody.
Bye.